All right. In regards to managing inventory, each period you're going to basically make a sales forecast for both the base and the premium product. So what that means is how much do you want to produce? Things to note is that the factory is going to produce whatever you ask them to. You want to try to hit it pretty close, and it's hard to estimate that like the first quarter and even in the second quarter, but you'll start to get the hang of it. So what happens if you don't make enough? The factory will produce more, but it's going to come at an overtime cost of $40 a unit. What if you make too much? Then you're going to incur an inventory cost of $25 a unit. However, that inventory that you're storing, you can then use in the next quarter. So in the next quarter, if you have, so let's say in Q1, you produce 1,000 units too many. You need to take those 1,000 units and whether they're base or premium and account for that when you're forecasting for the next quarter or telling production how much to make or telling the factory. The other thing, what's your pricing strategy going to be? So are you going to price close to cost? Are you going to have high profit margins? So these are other questions to ask. Market research. How do I know how much to forecast? Well, in Q1, you're just it's a guessing game. And you'll see when we look at how you're graded that Q1 is not included because you're just getting a feel for things. So during Q1 though, you can order market research. So you need to go and look in the manual and see what each market research study covers so that you aren't having redundant reports. And there are some in there, but you've got to figure out which ones would be the most helpful. So generally, what I would say is definitely you want to get market research. How much you want to get is dependent on what y'all want to do. If the first, or what your group wants to do. If in Q1, you want to order a bunch of research and see which is the most helpful, that's one strategy. Another strategy would be to just order a few. So how often do you need to buy those studies? Well, I'll say some of it, you won't be able to see what's going on in the market, what other groups are doing if you don't buy the market research. So keep that in mind. Metrics, profit and market share are the two metrics we're going to use in terms of your grade. Other ones are net promoter score and company reputation. So mentioned grading, so let's talk about that. So you are graded both individually and as a group. So together, that's 20% of your course grade. Individually, that 5% is from you making a recommendation. And I forget what the terminology is. It's recommendation or suggestion. Individually in your simulation. Now, how does your group make a decision? Each group has a leader, and the leader has the ability to submit the decision for the group. But going back to the individual, regardless of, for both leaders and for other group members, you have to make your individual decisions. I have reports that show if you made a decision and submitted it every quarter. Also, your group members are going to evaluate your participation. So these are the groups. I just took the first person on the list in your group and made them the team leader. So we're running 2 industries. I know this says industry 1, but that's actually incorrect. This should be, and I'll fix this on the sheet, but 5, 6, 7, and 8 are actually in industry 2. The leader, again, will make your individual suggestion, decision, or recommendation, and the decision for the group. So what you're doing is you need to make your individual decision or suggestion before you come to meet with your group. Then when your group meets, you should discuss what you think you should do, or your group should do, based off of what you've individually looked at, and have a discussion and then come to an agreement as the group. Now, I just have randomly put together groups and randomly chose the leaders. If you don't want to be a leader, or maybe your group is having trouble with the leader, maybe making decisions or being available, I can change the leader at any time. But I'll post this spreadsheet with the corrected industries. So grading. Again, we're using profit and market share. So I look at where you are in terms of profit, where you are in terms of market share. So you could be first in profit and last in market share. That generally doesn't happen, but the first in profit's not always the first in market share. So ranking you 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the points you'll get. So it will be an average of the Q2 through 8 profit points plus the average of the Q2 through Q8 market share points. So, and then this is the breakdown. Another thing to note, the most a group can increase commission per quarter is 3%. And if you do just like crazy things that have no rhyme or reason or are illogical for a business to do, that can disqualify your group from the simulation and first from that quarter, second from that simulation. So take this seriously. So this is just an example you can go through of what profit points might look like and market share and how that comes to a grade. So, for example, team 2 basically came in last every time. So made a C. You can go through that. First place in both industries will get 1.5 points added to your final grade. For Sunday, April 10th, you need to have completed the quiz by 11:59 p.m. and then sign up for the simulation. Then you have a week for your group to meet or virtually meet. Again, you can use the breakout group rooms. Figure out your individual idea, make your individual suggestion, meet with the group, make the group suggestion, and then Tuesday morning, I will run the simulation. So the schedule is going to move pretty quickly. So pretty much every other day, you have a decision to make. So this is it. I'll post all of this, and please reach out to me any point in time you need help, you need any advice, I can definitely meet with your group virtually as well. Just reach out to me.